Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to MDMTG. My name's Levi. Right off the bat here, guys, I'm going to apologize. I'm having some hardware issues. I'm back to filming with the laptop camera, and I think I'm getting sick. So bear with me through this video. I'll run you through this deck list that we have today. We'll run through a Rakdos Impact Trimmers deck list, which is amazing. I have won 8 out of 10 games that I've live tested on. Just so you know, we live test on both Untapped and X-Mage. If you ever want to get onto our playtesting, that's where we do it. I mean, they're simple sites to use. We even shadow test in Forge, but it doesn't have the battle packs up yet, so that's really annoying. But without further ado, I'll get on to this deck list, and I hope you guys like it. Okay guys, so here's a deck list for this Rakdos Impact Trimmers deck. We decided to title this Death by 1,000 Cuts. This wasn't our idea. I've seen this deck named so many different times, but I thought we'd use it for this idea of a deck. So the first thing we have in here is a Blood-Soaked Champion. We have 4 copies of him in the deck. He's a great card. I mean, I don't know if you guys don't know what he does. Read him up there on the screen. Amazing card. Great guy. Turn 1 play. Then we have a Mardu's Shadow Spear. I almost said Monastery Swift Spear, another card in the deck. I'm going through alphabetical order here, so bear with me. Shadow Spear, another great card for a 1-drop, and he's also a dash. So with the Impact Trimmers, which I will get to when we get to the enchantments, he actually triggers every time you play him, which is great. So then next we have Mardu's Strike Leader, which is a 3-drop. So he does push the limit of the aggro here, but great card. Great card, I mean, especially with the Impact Trimmers out. Even without it, you get a token every time he swings, and that dash ability is great. So, it's a simple card, and this is a pretty simple, straightforward deck. The next card we got here is a Monastery Swift Spear, which is an amazing card. It's actually up to $2.75 for an uncommon. I'm kind of upset about this, considering I had about 80 copies, I'd say. And I just got rid of them to all my friends. They needed them for their red decks, and now I forget who I loaned them to. That's a bit upsetting considering it was a 5-cent card when I gave it to them. But this is a great card. It's a 1/2 with haste and prowess. So basically, you play this turn 1, you swing. And then anytime you play any spell, it gets bigger. And with Impact Trimmers, these combos just add up. I mean, this is a creature-based deck because it's Impact Trimmers. But it's worth it. It's worth putting in the deck, especially because it's a 1-drop. And then the last creature we have, all these creatures are 4 of each. We have a Zulaport Cutthroat. He's a 2-drop for whenever a creature dies. Yeah. You gain 1 life, each opponent loses 1 life. That doesn't seem like much, but with this deck where you're going to be burning through creatures left and right, this is a really good card. And plus, he triggers Impact Trimmers. And then whenever something dies, it has almost the exact same effect as Impact Trimmers, except for it's even better because you gain life. It's pretty good. So now on to the enchantments on this deck. We have 6 of them. Like I said, you have 4 Impact Trimmers, which is the cornerstone of this deck. That might be a bad term to use. This deck still runs perfectly fine without Trimmers because it is aggro. I mean, it's with Trimmers, it's a turn 5 win most of the time. Without it, it's about turn 8. That's still pretty good for a deck that's going to run you pretty cheap. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you this deck's going to win every time. It's not. But this deck wins a lot. Especially because no one's expecting aggro on this set. Everyone's expecting long, late game control, or even mid-range now with Abazan. Aggro, they just die before they can do anything. Unless you're playing another aggro deck, which would basically be doing the exact same strategy, and it's who gets Impact Trimmers out first. That's all there is to it. Like I said, there's 4 copies of him in the deck. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Straightforward, simple, and deadly. So next we have Outpost Siege, which I guess I didn't know we threw this in here. Technically not an aggro deck. I apologize. I keep saying that. This technically makes it a mid-range deck. I'm going to keep calling it aggro because it's only 2-drop, or it's only 2 of a 4-drop, but in the actual sense of the word, it is not an aggro deck. Outpost Siege, don't know what it does. It gives you 2 options, dragons or cons. With cons, at the beginning of upkeep, you exile top card of your library. You can play that card until the end of the turn, basically giving you an extra card that you can play. It says play, not cast, so you can play any land exiled this way. That's nice, especially because with this deck, land means more creatures means they die quicker. And then with Dragon Zone, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Basically, the Cutthroat ability, but it's target creature or player, so you can get rid of anything they have out early game, which is usually going to be a 1/1 or maybe even a 2/2. Either way, it's going to get rid of it. So then we have, onto the sorceries, we have 6 sorceries in this deck. 4 Dragon Fodder, which you might think is weird, but with Impact Tremors, that's 2 damage for a 2/2. If you have Swift Spear out, it's also another 2 damage in the face. Plus, it gives you 2 more guys that can attack every turn for 2 mana. Pretty good card. And then we have Hoarding Outburst, which is basically Dragon Fodder, but 1 more. Same with mana cost, everything. It's a 3-drop instead of a 2, and it puts 3 goblins out instead of 2. Also triggering Impact Tremors, doing a 3 extra damage. And then, for instance, we only have 4. We have 4 copies of Altar's Reap. I mean, it's a good card. It's sacrifice creature, draw 2 cards. I mean, with Cutthroat and Outpost Siege out there, you also deal 2 damage for 2 mana. It's a good card. So then I'm going to run, here's the land base for this deck, and here's where we start getting into cutting some stuff for budget. I mean, you can cut out these Bloodstained Mires. There are 4 of them in the deck, because it is Rakdos, it's black-red. Fetch lands are good, they're not necessary, they're nice though. So there's 4 Bloodstained Mires here. You can cut them out of the deck if you'd like, to keep it down budget, because these are the biggest cost in the deck. This is almost $80 in a $116 deck. So cut those out and you'll be fine. If not, if you have the money, leave them in, great. Then we got 8 mountains here, which just are mountains. This deck is almost split perfectly half and half with mana base. I mean, I don't know why I'm explaining to you what a mountain does. You tap it for red mana. That's nice. And then we have 4 Smoldering Marsh, which, if you don't know what that does, it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more lands, and it gives you a black or a red mana. Pretty straightforward. It's a nice card. And we have 4 of those in here, and we have 8 Swamps. Like I said, this deck is pretty well balanced on mana curve, and there might be like 1 or 2 more black cards than red. So that's the actual main board. Here I'm going to run you through the sideboard, and even our maybe board, because we were talking about adding Mardu to this, but with Mardu it kind of slows it down, even though it does give you the opportunity to survive in late game. So the sideboard for this deck is pretty straightforward. We have 1 Bone Splinters, which if you don't know what that does, it's sack a creature, destroy target creature. For 1 black mana, triggers Prowess, and it gets a creature off the board for both sides. Also, if you have Cutthroat out or Outpost Siege, it's also more life they lose. And then we have 4 Duress, which I'm not a big fan of Duress in sideboard. I'm sorry, this deck is Rakdos aggro, not aggro, mid-range technically, I know, but it's supposed to kill them before you even need to worry about the cards in their hand. Pyro, on the other hand, he wants this card in there. I can see its usefulness, I just don't think you're really going to be siding it in much, but hey, we needed something to fill in the sideboard. So then we got 4 Duress, 1 Bone Splinter, 3 Forerunner of Slaughter, which he's actually pretty good. Kind of. He's a 2 mana drop for a 3/2. You pay 1 colorless mana, give a colorless creature you control haste. Basically, you're giving him haste. That's all there is to it. I mean, there's no other colorless creatures in the deck. We should probably cut him out of here, but I need to get this video out. I've been slacking on it. So, we have 3 of him. We have 2 Roast. If you don't know what this does, it's a 2-drop for 1 colorless, 1 red. Deal 5 damage to target creature without flying. It's pretty good, but it's not good enough to go in main board. It's only good enough to go inside. I mean, if they're running another aggro deck, 5 damage to anything in an aggro deck is going to kill it. And then we have 4 Self-Inflicted Wound, which target opponent sacrifices a green or white creature, and if they do, they lose 2 life. This is good. I mean, Abzan is a thing right now. Abzan is huge. It's good. Also, it works against Temur and anything but basically Rakdos for clan-wise. I mean, obviously it doesn't work against, I don't know, it works, but it's not good enough for main because it's a situational card. I'm sorry, guys, it's late. Then we have one Vampiric Rites. Pay 2 mana, sack a creature, gain a life, draw a card. That's a good card. I mean, there's nothing else to it. That's a pretty good card. Especially with this one, you're going to have a whole bunch of creatures out. So now on to our maybe board here. Like I said, we were talking about adding Mardu into it. So for maybe board, we were talking about adding in 2 Battlefield Forge, 2 Butcher of the Horde, 2 Caves of Colossus, I think. I don't know how you say it. 2 Crackling Doom and 4 Nomadic Outposts. Basically, we're adding Mardu in here to give you more of a mid-range deck. I don't like it. I like this deck as an aggro. Might actually cut Outpost Siege entirely, put someone else in. I mean, check the comments. If we do, we'll post that as a deck list. So, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward deck. I'll run you through a little bit of a strategy for it that I haven't already. And then, all in all, this is going to be a short video. You guys aren't going to have to put up with me for very long. Okay, so the strategies for this deck is pretty straightforward. It's basically just get out a whole bunch of creatures and kill them before they can react. I mean, if you can turn 1 Monastery Swift Spear, turn 2 Impact Tremors, you already have dealt 2 damage by the time you play anything. I know that seems really slow, or sorry, 3 damage because of the Prowess trigger. That's actually really good for turn 2 to have done 3 damage. And then you play Blood Soaked or any other creature, you trigger Impact Tremor's ability. It's good, it's quick, it's lethal. I mean, all you need to do is get out creatures and swing before they can react. Basically, to quote one of my buddies from Friday Night Magic, you turn things sideways with this deck. That's all you do. I mean, it's kind of like my standard deck that I run right now, except for this takes even less thought, which not a bad thing. I mean, sometimes you don't have to think to make a good deck. Turn things sideways before they can react. I've beaten Abzan Control, Abzan Midrange, Blue-Black Control, Sultai Control. I've beaten so many decks with this already. People are starting to hate me on X-Mage. They won't even play me in Standard. And I don't know. If you feel like getting chased out of your local Magic shop, do it. I mean, this deck is amazing. People won't really hate you because people are also trying to run the most annoying decks as possible. I mean, heck, I saw someone run Modern and run a 50 Shadowborn Apostle deck. They mulligan down till they get a land. I mean, come on, people. This deck is not nearly that bad. So, I mean, I thought about maybe adding in some more annoying cards, maybe even throwing, like, like Ulamog himself. That would just be interesting. I would do it more for just casual play, just to annoy people. I mean, heck, feel free to do it. There's a low enough CMC here that he wouldn't affect it at all. But I'm obviously joking. We're not going to submit a deck for Standard like that. I actually do know what I'm doing here, believe it or not, guys. Just video quality sucks. So yeah, that's basically the deck strategy for this. I mean, it's really straightforward, really simple. One thing before I go, we are at 43 subscribers as of right now. We get up to 50, we are giving away cards. I mean, you guys still have, I think it's 17 or 18 days from when I'm recording this video. So, if you guys get anyone to get up there, I really want to see Pyro get rid of these cards. It'll be great. And plus, I mean, it makes him feel a little bit better about what we're doing here. I mean, he edits all my videos. You guys just see me, but he's doing a lot of work here. So, if you like the video, you think this deck list is helpful, like it, leave a comment. I mean, come on, guys, we're doing this for you. So, if you want anything, any deck lists, questions, I check them daily. So, if you have anything you want to see, just let me know. And have fun at Magic.